Face it. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh no, you're so bad. Was that nice way to wake up this morning? You know, the Pop Bear mug. Yeah, I'm smiling. She's like, yes, the good stuff. Oh, the cutest naked baby. Oh, she's so warm. Hey, let's just take a little break. How did you sleep last night? You were up quite a few times. What happened to sleeping through the night? I miss it. Can we get back to that? Okay, we say, thank you, Lord, for my body. Thank you for my ears that hear your truth, for my eyes that see your good, for my mouth that speaks life, for my hands that serve others, for my heart that knows you, and for my feet that walk the path you have for me. Yay! Thank you, Lord, for our bodies. Yeah. Are you gonna roll over? Can you let me set you down so I can clean the kitchen? Yeah. There you go. Finally got Teeks down for her first nap. It's just been so much more of a fight lately. We're in that 4-month sleep regression for sure. I used to be able to nurse her, rock her to sleep, transfer her to the crib, and now every time I go to do the transfer, she's like, "Wah! Do not set me down." She's down, Lord knows for how long. Now it's time for me to make my breakfast. I have been very intentional and mindful lately about just like, how can I simplify my nourishment? I'm just doing whatever I can to minimize the amount of barriers between me and nourishing myself. I feel like garbage when I don't nourish myself, especially because I'm exclusively breastfeeding. I fed her 4 times last night in the middle of the night. If I didn't wake up and have that smoothie and intentionally keep myself nourished this morning, it's a recipe for disaster for all of us. So one of the things I've been doing, because you know how much I love my eggs and sausage for breakfast, even though I used to love the ritual every morning of kind of like coming and making breakfast, it's just not as feasible. So I've been back to meal prepping my egg cups, essentially what I would normally eat for breakfast, just prepared in these little egg cups. So I have my Belinsky's chicken sausage that I chopped up. This week I did some yellow onion and some tomatoes and I think some bell pepper. And then I do pasture-raised eggs and some egg whites if I'm trying to up the protein. And yes, I will microwave these. Also, this is so random, but I, for so long, was on the hunt for a good cutting board that was not plastic and not wood, because I love my wood cutting board, but sometimes I would find myself using my mom's like 20-year-old plastic cutting boards, and I'm like, this is not good. It had like shards. We don't need microplastics in our food. I found this on Amazon. It is a silicone cutting board, which sounds like it shouldn't be a cutting board. You can see like there's like a couple spots where I've gotten little knife marks in it, but it's actually held up so well. It's a Korean technology, I guess. It's amazing. So if you need to replace some cutting boards, reduce your microplastics, highly recommend. While we sit and enjoy our breakfast together. I figure now's as good a time as ever to catch up. So I'm 4.5 months postpartum. I did not expect to take this long of a break from my business, from creating content. It's kind of been a wild ride in a lot of ways. I just kind of want to like update you on where I've been, where I'm at, and how I've really been doing. At this point, you will have seen my birth vlog and my birth story. So you know how the birth went. Truly the most magical experience of my life because of my retained placenta and my hemorrhage. My recovery was slow, kind of. It's weird because basically for the first 10 days, I really could not get out of bed. I was very weak. I mean, I had lost so much blood that my pulse would just skyrocket anytime I stood up to get out of bed, to walk to the bathroom. My Oura ring was like registering that I was working out, taking a shower. Like honestly, it was kind of crazy. So I was just really weak, which I had planned to take time really resting, trying to stay horizontal and let my body heal, but I didn't expect for it to be that necessary. I'm so thankful my mom was here. She flew out to be with us and support us. Kashmir had only 2 weeks off of work, but he was so active and hands-on, and I essentially just laid in bed, sometimes on the couch, and nursed Tegan, and that was pretty much it. By 2 weeks, I started to feel pretty good though. I was shocked considering how weak I was at how quickly I started to feel better. Could not have done it without the support and hands-on help that I had, but I also was just like so intentional with my nourishment and my replenishment of nutrients. I was really pounding the food and the supplements and the hydration and everything I could to rebuild my body. I felt pretty good pretty quickly. So by 3 weeks is when I was kind of starting to get out a little bit. We went to our first Sunday service at church when Tegan was 3 weeks old, and that's kind of when we started to get out. I still was taking things super slow, but I started to feel decent. I felt really at peace with taking time away from work. I was just so soaked into the beauty of the experience, just really leaning into time with her as much as possible, cutting out any of those outside stressors and just soaking in the magic of the newborn bubble while leaving our house, because that was just a choice we made. I needed a little bit of that, but it was glorious. It really was. I would say around 6 to 8 weeks is when I kind of started to feel a little itchy, or like, okay, I'm craving a routine. I'm craving a little bit more structure. I'm craving a little bit more productivity and accomplishment. I was starting to feel kind of that itch to get out of just the newborn bubble and get back a little bit to life, even though life will never be the same. And I'm learning how it's no different. I started to feel pretty good. I started to go on morning walks. First, I was just so focused on rebuilding everything that I had lost with my blood loss. And then it was just like, okay, let's just get back to the foundations. Let's go on a walk every morning. Let's make sure I'm eating 3 meals and eating protein. I was really just trying to focus on that while learning how to be a mom and care for a baby and nurse. And we had kind of a rough road with her as far as tongue tie. I could get into that, like probably a whole separate video if you guys really care for it. Essentially, because of my bicornate uterus and how smushed Tegan was in the womb, she came out healthy, but like the girl needed some body work. She needed some support. It was rough and she was in a lot of discomfort. Anyway, so we did tongue and lip tie revisions as well as a bunch of body work, at least twice a week chiropractic visits, really trying to get her aligned and supported as she was healing. I feel like I was starting to kind of feel in the groove, but then like 6, 7 to like 10 weeks was just so brutal. She was so uncomfortable in her body. Our gas and colic was just so rough. From the beginning, because of her discomfort, she just hated being on her back. She would scream if we ever placed her on her back. It was hard to do anything, hated being in the car. It was a lot. Like a little bit past 10 weeks, we kind of hit this like 2-week beautiful honeymoon period of she's doing so much better. She's so much happier. She's sleeping like 7 to 8 hours. She was just a completely different baby. We had made so much progress in her body. Literally 12 weeks to the day, I got my period back. It was rough. I literally was losing so much blood. I was like back in my postpartum diapers. I was just like, what is happening? I was in a lot of pain. My uterus was working and I felt like garbage. So there was this whole swirl of hormone changes. 3 months is also when you have this huge hormone shift in general, and when your milk supply changes from supply to demand. So there was so much happening in my body at one time. And I think all of that I was starting to feel feel the depletion again because I lost so much blood again with that period. It was like, even though I had made so much progress in rebuilding, I felt like I just went back to square one with all my blood depletion. And so that was rough, and there were big things going on in our personal lives. We were trying to put our house on the market and buying another house, and it was just like, wow, there was a lot happening. Now she's 4 months, so I've had a 30-day cycle. I didn't know if it would be long. Sometimes those first periods back are like a lot more spaced out, but no, I think it was like 35 days, so it was a little bit longer. But I've had my second period. Again, it was really rough. I lost a ton of blood again, and so I just feel like I'm really back to square one with trying to rebuild, which is so discouraging when everything about your life has been like flipped on its head and everything is different, and every piece of my normal routine and comfort and everything is different. And it's like everything about becoming a mom, learning how to care for a baby, all the things involved with that, combined with having such chaos happening inside my own body, has been hard. That's a little bit of context for like why I've been away for 4.5 months. I knew I wanted to take like at least 8 weeks off and just enjoy her. I expected to start feeling better and back to normal as I was like moving in that direction, but then getting my cycle back just feels so unfair in some ways, because I'm like, I am exclusively breastfeeding. So many people are like, you're not gonna get your period back if you're breastfeeding. Like mine didn't come back for months, 10 months, a year. I'm like, I don't know guys, I feel like I just ovulated and it came back. So I'm trying to see that as a sign that like my body feels safe enough to believe it can conceive again, or else I wouldn't have another cycle. I'm trying to look at it positively. On top of that, just 2 nights ago, we did a ultrasound. We knew during my pregnancy, when I found out about the bicornate uterus, essentially like when you're pregnant, it's really hard to see how much of a septum you have. I could have done some really intense imaging. We just chose not to pursue that at the time because it didn't make any difference. Like I was pregnant, we were gonna just pray that this baby made it. So we decided with my midwife around like 3 months postpartum, we would do a checkup now that I'm not pregnant to see if we could understand the severity of my bicornate, if I just had like mild heart shape at the top or if I have a septum. And this entire time, just with the fact that Tegan made it to full term, I was like, we're good to go. Maybe I've got this heart shaped. I mean, I knew the way it affected her positioning and everything that caused with breech. I've definitely got this going on, but I was shocked to learn 2 nights ago that I actually have a complete full septum, like a complete bicornate uterus. I essentially have 2 uteruses. Tegan was conceived and grown on essentially my left uterus. What we could see is, I think I just maybe ovulated like yesterday or today. It's coming, I can feel it. And she could see that that was happening. Girl's waking up. Intermission. Hey. Okay, baby. No. Okay. All right. Okay, I know you wanted me on mama. This is we put you in the carrier and we just do a contact nap. I'm not leaving you, okay? You're You can tell me how you're feeling. Yeah. That's hard. Mama's here, okay? Good job, Teeks. I have personally found that instead of fighting her when she's fighting sleep, I'd rather just bring her along with me. So sometimes I sit in her nursery, continue to rock her and try to get her down, or I'll sit in the chair with her and have a glorious contact nap. But sometimes, like now, where I need to finish eating, I would rather strap her on, give her the comfort she needs. She's probably gonna fall asleep and I can continue to do what I need to do, especially finishing my breakfast. Huh. You just want to hang out with mama and you never want to sleep. You're like, who needs sleep? We made daddy's coffee this morning. Mama always waits till after breakfast to drink coffee, right? I did take the first 30 days postpartum off any caffeine at all because obviously cortisol, sleep, all that stuff. I just wanted to give my body the best chance possible. Since then, I've been back to my 3rd caffeinated purity coffee beans, the hormone-friendly blend. And this is why I keep making iced coffee lattes, even though I usually do matcha in the summer, but this is just my secret trick. So I've got 1/3 caffeinated espresso. I do 2 scoops of my perfect collagen. That's 20 grams of protein. Trying to get at least 130 grams of protein every day right now, especially with exclusively breastfeeding. And then a splash organic maple syrup. Froth this up. This is part of the trick though. You need to put the maple syrup in the hot coffee and the collagen. They just do better when you blend it when it's hot. Then I pop this in the fridge, even just for like 5 minutes while I get my breakfast cleaned up, and then we'll finish it later. All right, we gotta finish unloading the dishwasher. Before you were born, I used to start a task and finish it. Like I'd unload the dishwasher in 4 minutes. Now that you're here, I tend to do things in phases. So we emptied the bottom rack earlier, and now we're finishing the top rack. And here's your bottle that you're finally starting to take again. Who's that cute baby? You see yourself? You're so cute. Hi, I love you. Also, not ceased my morning elixir. I called it my pregnancy morning elixir. Can now consider it my postpartum morning elixir. This thing is just packed with so many things I need. Electrolytes, potassium, vitamin C. As much as I loved it during pregnancy, especially in those first weeks when I was freshly postpartum and recovering from my blood loss, I was having Cashmere, bless his heart, make this up for me every single day. He was making me 2 of them. I mean, I just couldn't get enough. Yeah. So this is still a part of my routine. I really cannot recommend this enough. Tastes good, it's easy, and keeps me nourished. She's not quite asleep yet, but I think she's getting there, maybe. Coffee chat. Going back to the conversation where we left off, got an ultrasound this week, found out I have a complete bicornate uterus, which is just so insane. It's so insane. Also, the other thing that we saw on this week's ultrasound was the string of pearls of cysts on my ovaries from PCOS, endometriosis, Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, PCOS, and then having essentially 2 uteruses. Like, she is a miracle, a miracle. Every life is such a miracle, but holy smokes, I'm just in awe of God and the story he's written over my life and my health and her life, and feeling very grateful, like so grateful. I share all this just as like kind of a, here's where I've been the last 4.5 months, to give you a little bit of scope into what my postpartum journey has looked like. I kind of thought of my postpartum in like 3 phases. So the 4th trimester in my head was kind of broken into 2 phases. It's like the immediate recovery, which was just like not getting out of bed, eating as much nourishing as possible just to replenish the body, learning how to nurse, just like that huge learning curve of all that stuff. It's the foundation. Sleep being a very important foundation. She's found her voice and she just likes to talk to me all day, and I love it. I've noticed as a pattern now, she kind of does this as she's getting ready to fall asleep. She's like almost like singing herself to sleep. See, I get so sidetracked. Mom brain is so real. Okay, yes, postpartum recovery. So it's like the immediate recovery of just like resting and replenishing as much as humanly possible. And then I see the next phase as like the foundations. It's just like getting back to the foundations, making sure you're eating real full meals, focusing on protein, moving your body, you know, getting out for walks, seeing morning sunlight, all the things, getting back to the basics of rebuilding a routine with a baby and trying to focus on the basics. And then I saw like the 3rd phase of my postpartum recovery as really dialing that all in to more focus on actual weight loss, preparing for conceiving again, that extra phase of like taking it further, actually getting more into a workout and fitness routine, focusing on strength and not just walking, you know, like maybe having goals. For me, I would really love to do half marathon in February. That was kind of like a vision in my brain as something that I would love to work towards and rebuild towards. That's kind of how I saw my 3 phases of postpartum recovery. Because of my blood loss, that first phase probably longer than expected, though I really did recover pretty darn quickly considering how much blood I lost and how weak I was. I really did feel pretty good by 3 weeks postpartum. I think just taking that first part so seriously was really helpful. And then I started to be like, okay, I'm gonna start focusing on really dialing in my nutrition a little bit more with the thought of healthy, hormonally supportive, breastfeeding friendly, non-restrictive and obsessive weight loss. But now I just feel like I'm so set back again, almost back into like phase 1.5 with the blood loss of my cycles. And I'm feeling a little discouraged. I'm feeling very disoriented. I'm feeling just so out of my own body. It's been a lot. So it's kind of like where I've been, why it's taken me 4.5 months to get back. I really had it in my brain that I was gonna have this like beautiful, healing, you know, easy, restorative postpartum, that I was really gonna crush it on that front. And then I was going to come back from a place of victory and encouragement, share with you guys like all the ways I was learning how to be fit and healthy and strong as a mom, and all the wins I was having. And I haven't come back because that in my head is how I wanted to come back with you guys, and that's not where I'm at yet. I never try to project that I have it all together to you guys. I think you know that. I've always shared from a place of like, I'm in this with you. I'm working through this with you. I'm not completely on the other side of my health journey. I haven't cured all these illnesses that I have. I don't have everything sorted out. Obviously, I've had so much victory. I have this beautiful baby in my arms, so many wins, but you guys reminded me what I already know to be true, but I needed the reminder of. It's not like the only way I can help you and encourage you and support you in your wellness journey is to be on the other side of this. I know that it can be helpful and encouraging to just know that another mom is in it with you, or you're not a mom yet, but you're just in the midst of still working on your health. Maybe you're dreaming of this moment right here. Maybe you are where I was a year ago, just praying and praying and praying that you would get to hold a baby in your arms. I just wanted to open up the curtain. Likely the content you're gonna see from me here is going to be just continually learning how to press in this season that I'm in. I'm working through in my own brain and spirit how much my life and my days and my identity and like every fiber of my being has changed, really from the moment I conceived her, but especially from the moment I birthed her. I will forever be a mom now, and that doesn't have to take up my entire identity. It doesn't mean that everything that I used to be is dead and gone and that the old Molly doesn't exist. I am forever changed. Everything about my life is forever changed. I'm just working through what that means in my own identity and brain, but especially sharing here with you guys what that means from a place of my wellness and my habits and my health. I'm relearning everything that I already know about how to care for myself because my demands are different. Someone asked this, and I shared in a Q&A on Instagram recently, in what ways have your wellness routines changed since becoming a mom? I shared like nothing's changed because all the foundations are still the same, but at the same time everything has changed because the actual implementation of that is different. My sleep is so different. My movement is different. I don't get to just drive to yoga and be gone for 2 hours without figuring out who's gonna be with her. I'm learning how to do workouts in her room with a band and some dumbbells while she plays on her mat. I'm learning how to create easy, quick meals that still nourish myself without having the time, as you saw this morning, if she's not napping. All those things I'm relearning. I just figured we'd start here today with this vlog just to kind of bring you guys back in and in some ways just kick off this new journey to relearning it all together. I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like yet, but I figured I'd bring you along for the ride. So with that in mind, I guess I'd love to hear from you if you have like specific requests on questions or just things you'd want to see, things that would be helpful for me to share. I'm trying to figure out what things look like moving forward. So as always, whatever I take the time to create here, I want to be fruitful for you. And so if you know what would be the most helpful and encouraging, that's what I want to spend my time making for you. Welcome back to what was, but also welcome to everything that is brand new. We'll be in this together. I'm just excited to bring it all along. Now let's see if we can go get her in her crib again. Feeling as soon as she leaves my chest, she's just gonna be like, alert, alert. So, remember how we learned about laundry a few days ago? That's what we're back to, because laundry is always growing, and all caught up on laundry. I have more to do, but that's when we say, thank you, Lord, for these fresh, clean clothes, for a washer and dryer to clean them and dry them, clothes that keep our bodies warm. So even when we do these mundane things, we try to say, thank you, Lord, right? Amen. I know. You're starting to be tired. tired because you're not sleeping. Hey. Hey, Mama's tired. I got like literally maybe 13 minutes out of that crib nap. Tried all the things and finally just did a contact nap in the chair because it's what she needed. Was nap trapped for over 2 hours. Y'all, babies are crazy. Like, she won't nap for more than 20 minutes unless she's on my body in that chair. She'll nap for like 3 hours. I don't understand it. Tried to just soak that contact nap in, but now it's 2:30. I'm starving and I haven't eaten. And so I snuck her into the crib and actually had a successful transfer. So we'll see how long that lasts. I have barely touched my elixir or need to add more ice to that and keep drinking it. But I was just gonna show you. This is the perfect example of why I've been doing this. Just again, going back to like meal prepping the egg cups. My days are just so unpredictable right now, especially with her having like 0 sleep schedule in this sleep regression. I don't always know how much time I'm gonna get in the kitchen. Even if I'm wearing her and I put her in the carrier, that definitely gives me more flexibility if needed. Anyways, I'm just trying to simplify meals. So one of the things I've been doing is buying these Snap Kitchen prepared meals. I used to have a code with them. I don't know if I still do. I'll try to check on that because I just bought these myself. I do this because when I was just expecting myself to have the ability to spend even like 15 minutes putting a proper meal together, it just wasn't always happening. The last thing I want to do is get to the end of the day, like Cashmere comes in at 5 p.m. and I'm like, I haven't eaten all day, or I've just been like grabbing snacks and not properly nourishing my body. With everything going on with my health, with my PCOS, like blood sugar regulation is so important. And then the fact that I'm breastfeeding her so many times a day right now, my output is crazy. So it's just so important to nourish myself. Paying a little bit of a premium to not have an excuse because this is going to spend 2 minutes in the microwave and that's it. They do have BPA free containers, but since I am microwaving it and I'm home and I have the ability to, I just like to take them and put them in my own bowl to heat up. This has been my favorite meal from them lately. It's a peach barbecue brisket with loaded cauliflower. It's so good. It has 38 grams of protein, 24 carbs, 6 of those are fiber. It's so delicious too. It's like the perfect amount of spice. Doesn't exactly look like anything special, but it is delicious. I make sure that your sheets stay fresh and clean and protect your mattress so you have a safe, comfortable, non-toxic place to sleep. There we go, Tegan. Did it. Hey, you want to read a book? Ready? I love this one. There once was a firefly named Finn. You see all the flowers? Off they went into the night, but the night was so dark. Why haven't you been using your light to help us find our way? A newfound joy he felt shining his light. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. You can do it. There she goes.